You know what time it is. That's right, it's time for Rivals Assemble, a Marvel Rivals podcast. I am your host, Mark Turcott, and you are tuned in to episode 19. Well, this week coming up here on the show, we're going to give you some just our stories from Clone Rumble from this past week, from the battlefield of Clone Rumble. We're going to discuss Galacta's Cosmic Rumble. We have a great topic on the show. It's kind of been running around the creator community this week about competitive mode, and we got that promised Loki dump coming up for you. So, to break it all down with me here, first up, Neil. Neil, what's up, dude?
Your powers are mine. I got right into Loki today with some pre-game games, and we lost most of them.
The healing output just wasn't there, man.
No, but
starting strong.
I was being very mischievous and doing my best Loki the whole time.
All right. Well, it's all about placing those extra clones around and trying to just utilize that space and get those heals coming in. Get that healing.
He's just
boost.
a little guy.
Apparently, you can only do 2 clones. I thought you could do 3 at one time. Maybe when the game first came out, they subtract a clone, maybe?
I think it is only 2, but there is a way to get that third. Because, yeah, sometimes it seems like there's like 8 Lokis on the field. I don't know how people are doing it. It's wild. But
anyway,
those guys are good. Also joining us, you heard that voice there, Matt. Matt, what's up, dude?
Yo. Welcome. Hey, guys. Stoked to talk about the game with you this week. It's been a good week. First week not working 7 days a week.
There you go.
I'm in a long time, so we're doing it, and yeah.
I don't think this community knows what Yaguin it is yet, Pat.
Yaguin it? So, little mini lore segment here. If you listen to, did you do this back in Guardian Radio at all, or was it?
Yes, GamerGoo was a sponsor of Guardian Radio. Yeah.
So, as Mark just alluded to, GamerGoo, which I believe they've changed their name now.
Yeah.
To
crazy name.
Something else. It's
something else. They're not paying us to say it.
Right.
You're not gooing it anymore. It was like a lotion for your hands that like
a baby
absorbed
powder?
the moisture and the sweat. So when you were like gripping your controller,
your flight stick.
Those extra sweaty games weren't extra sweaty. I don't understand how this is a thing, but Mark would always say "you going it" as part of his ad on his old show, and so now we just say you're doing something.
Yeah,
with
you're
it.
doing it. You're doing it.
You're pooping it.
Yep. You're dumping it.
You're clobbering in it.
Yep. There you go. Exactly.
So whatever.
Yeah. Classic right there. Also here, of course, Ken's. Ken's, what's up, dude?
Hey, what's going on? I am also here. Yeah, we got some.
Are you gooing it, Ken's? Are you
I don't know that I'm quite into. I'm not know if I'm gooing it level yet. We'll see how the rest of the show goes.
All right.
Right now, we're just at a
He's got
medium
kids
level.
now. I don't know if he's gooing it anymore.
I'm at a medium level of goo at this point. So.
Well, guys, thank you here for joining us, man. We do actually have a really good episode this week. Not that they're not all good, but we got a good one here in store for you. A little bit of housekeeping here, though. Of course, don't forget you can always follow us over on the socials at X/Twitter or Blue Sky at Rivals Assemble. Generally, we're doing the show live every week on Twitch and YouTube at Rivals Assemble Pod. But for whatever reason this week, I don't know if Twitch isn't cooperating, whatever it is. Unfortunately, we're not streaming there live, but I should be uploading the video over to YouTube if you do want to see the video. And then also, if you are listening to us on whatever podcast service of choice you're listening on, whether it's iTunes or Spotify, help us out. Leave a review over there. That helps move us up the ranks, get a little more ears on the show. And, of course, on Spotify, leave us your comments over there. We love hearing from you guys. And, of course, we always wrap the show up with your comments and questions here for the show. So we're pulling a lot of the content here at the end from those Spotify comments. So please keep those coming. And, of course, you can always reach out to us via email, rivalsassemblepod@gmail.com. And I urge everybody to do this. Go join our Discord. We finally got it figured out where we have one link. Hopefully that's never going to expire because that was kind of our issue these past couple weeks. But we have an incredible community building over there, over 100 people strong. We have the Dirtbag Caps over there. We have a couple different factions running now on multiple platforms, so PC and console. I think we even have different regions. So not only if you want to get your achievement for joining the tournament or just want to meet some like-minded people, go over there. I see almost every night there's a group kind of in our Discord voice chat playing every single night. So if you want to just get some people who are just having fun with the game, or if you're a little sweaty, you might be able to find some people over there as well. And also, we've kind of alluded to it here on the podcast, but we are going to be launching our Patreon here in the coming weeks. So March 24th will be, I'm going to give you that date. March 24th is the date we will be launching that. And we're going to give you all the details next week in terms of what exactly will be included. But we did give you a little preview in the podcast feed this week, if you caught that this past Monday. And that was our Captain America Brave New World MCU recap episode. So go listen to that, and hopefully you enjoyed it. And if you did, leave us a comment over on Spotify.
Brave New World.
Yeah, so go listen. There's a nice little more content coming from us in your ear holes. So, all right. Well, let's move on here to our poll, guys. We had a poll this week, like we always do. Those are over on Spotify. And this
Polling
week,
it.
You're pulling it. We were pulling it, actually. We were pulling what is the most useful team up in the game.
Bad.
And so we put it to you guys. We said, is it the Magneto, Scarlet Witch, Hela, Loki, and Thor, Warlock, Adam Warlock, Mantis, and Star-Lord, or the Rocket, Punisher, and Bucky? We had over 110 votes, and coming in at almost half, at 47 of those votes, 42.7%, the Rocket, Punisher, and Bucky is the best team up, or I'm sorry, the most useful team up in the game, with the Warlock, Mantis, Star-Lord coming in second. What do you guys think of that?
Wow, just wow. I was not expecting this for sure. And I think it's all the Punisher Winter Soldier players. I do not play them, but if I had infinite ammo, I'm sure I'd feel pretty useful. I do play Rocket quite a bit, and I try and throw it out whenever I can, but I usually forget as well. So
Same.
Usually if we're playing together, I'm like, okay, let's coordinate here. Let me know when you want this ammo, and we throw it out, and it feels good, I think. So
yeah, I think I hit Captain Rocket this week, or hit Rocket Captain this week, just because I've been playing him so much for the assists challenges that come up, and because Bucky is so strong right now. I mean, a lot of times I always had a Bucky running with me, more so than the Punisher. But I mean, I had a couple games where it was when you get both of them running with you, it's great because you can just like drop it down, especially in like a domination mode where you can kind of throw once you get the point and kind of hold them off. Especially on like the what is it, the not the Red Skull. What am I thinking? The what are those maps?
Hell's Heaven.
Yeah,
Hell's Heaven.
Yeah, those maps you can really lock those down if you're able to. Hydra. There you go.
Hail Hydra.
Yeah. This seems to be the most annoying team up that affects the game. You know, if it's like to have the enemy team with, it's because I'm thinking of it from that perspective. What do I hate the most? And that's the best one. And so I do think that I hate this one the most. The other the revive ones, like the Asgardians and the Guardians of the Galaxy one, Warlock, Star-Lord, and Mantis. Those are impactful because you get like the free res, but just the damage that gets pumped from the Rocket, Punisher, and Winter Soldier is crazy.
Yeah, definitely.
We literally played a game before coming on here with my buddy Dan, where I was Rocket and he was Punisher. And the last minute of the match, I was like, "Oh, where are you, by the way?" I realized the entire reason I went Rocket was so that I could give you unlimited ammo. And he's like, "Just put it down and I'll find you." And I was like, that's not how it works. You have to be right here. And he was right next to me.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing with that, dude, you got to make sure too is like don't put the node like out in the open where it can be shot, right? Because it does have its health, kind of like all the other things. So always like put it behind a wall or whatever, so they can't take it out.
Kind of wonder.
One question I have, and we should try this for science, is if I was Loki and I copied Rocket for his ults, could I also throw out a team up?
I'm pretty sure, right?
Yeah. You can do it all.
Yeah. And that's on a separate cooldown? Because when Loki's
that's an interesting
Strange, it's the same cooldown, right? Or something? Did we talk about that last week?
Because the portal on a Strange is like per team. So it's like if you copy Strange, you don't get a new portal with a new cooldown.
And it breaks the game. If you have
that's
too many
why
going.
you can't be Doctor Strange in a clone rumble.
Right.
Chaos
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That's pretty cool. There's a hot tip for you then.
Yeah. So there you go. Rocket, Punisher, Winter Soldier, the winner.
Hot tip.
Next week, poll. So again, if you want to vote in this, go over to Spotify. You can see the poll over there. What is the most useless team up in the game? And we have the Black Widow Hawkeye team up, which I guess lets you see kind of Hawkeye's vision that he has, right?
It's you get to see like the after images
Right.
through his that Black Widow can also use, which would probably be great if any of us were good at them.
Yeah, I don't play
Right.
him ever. Let's see, Moon Knight and Cloak and Dagger, which it could arguably be decent. I mean, it's good sometimes if you can, because a lot of times Moon Knight, you're kind of like up in the rafters somewhere, you're kind of hiding, kind of peeking around the corner. This way you can kind of stand out in the open and just unload. But we're putting it in there. The Fastball Special,
Choice of words.
which is cool, but is pretty useless in my opinion. I think it's actually more useful with Thing because at least you can throw Wolverine and
in.
then jump to him. But
Yeah.
I mean, I guess you can do that as a Hulk too because he's got the leap, but it's just not the same. We have the Rocket Groot Jeff with the healing boost.
It's on your shoulder, right?
He's on your shoulder. Yep.
Jump on Groot.
Yep. And you
I
can
think you
pump
take
out more
less
heals.
damage.
You back?
Is that what it? Oh, is that what it is? He takes less damage.
Takes less damage, but then you also don't have to worry about moving.
It's very nice.
And then the Venom and Spidey friends, where you have the little burst, the little symbiote burst, I guess if
Symbiote.
you want to say.
The symbiote
AoE,
goo.
push people away.
Yep.
Do damage? It must do damage as well.
It does.
A little bit,
yeah. So there you go. So let us know the most useless team up in the game: Widow, Hawkeye, Moon Knight, Cloak and Dagger, the Fastball Special, Rocket, Groot and Jeff, or Venom and Spidey fans. Vote over on Spotify. All right. Well, guys, let's move on from that and let's talk about our week in game. And this week, of course, we had Galactus Cosmic Rumble release as well as Clone Rumble. We played after the show last week. We got to get in there and play some Clone Rumble. I know we played one match. What do we have? It was Jeff and Iron Man, I think, and we were trying to get the other team to go all Jeffs, and they refused to do it. They had like one or two of them just to stay as Iron Man, which was very sad. But the one crazy one I played was...
So a lot of them were cool about it.
Yeah.
We actually had... I think maybe I did this. I don't think I was with you guys. The 1v1, the point. Did you guys do that?
Mm-mm.
Okay,
No.
I wasn't with you. So
I
it was
wasn't
one
with
where
us.
literally it was like, I think it was Hulk and Cap, maybe? And we it was a of course every mode is a domination in this, but it was like, hey, let's just 1v1 for the point. So like two people, would go in there and whoever won we'd let them take it. And then everybody stood around the center and the next people jump in and just keep doing that. And that was hilarious. Like,
That sounds awesome.
yeah, it was fun.
That's
It was
great.
just,
King of the Hill.
yep. But that was cool. And then I did another one that
Who
was
won?
Squirrel Girl and Groot. And it was just like the walls going up, nuts bouncing, all
Nuts
over the place,
flying,
just like
nuts everywhere.
pinball basically kind of happening in there.
Wow.
Did you guys get any other crazy ones?
I want to shout out to some of the Discord members who jumped in to Clone Rumble with us last week, because they were so chill and just made the match so much fun. The matches that we did. So again, another plug for the Discord. It's super easy to find people to play with. I had not a lot of fun matches after that.
Same.
It
Yeah.
was just like people who were too try hard when it's like this. I feel like this specific mode thrives on the stupidity. And if you're going in trying to be super serious, then it's like, live your life, make your choice. But you are leaving a lot of fun at the door. And I feel sorry for you.
Well, you know what I think my problem, because I had some matches that were fun, and then I had other matches that were just like abysmal because it was just like, either our team wasn't working well or just the fact that they let you pick from two characters. Like, I get it, right? So they want you to maybe feel that there is some sort of agency of we're losing, we can switch between the two, come up with a different comp. I just kind of wish they went all the way, and it was just like, no. This match is just everybody's Captain America, or everybody is, the Thing, whatever it is. I kind of don't like the fact that it is each team gets to pick the one, and then that's just what you're stuck with. I kind of wish it was just here's the match, and I almost just wish it was random and didn't even allow us to pick. Right? It was just like
mystery heroes. Let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Because
what
we-
ruined it for me, I think.
It'd end up in some matches where it's like Wolverines and Iron Fists.
Ooh.
It was like, I don't identify with anything in this match right now, and I need this for my event, progression. So I can't back
But
out.
that's
and I don't want to be a jerk either.
Dude, that's my other, I guess, gripe of it is Galactus Cosmic Rumble. You don't need it for your progression because all that is you get like what every X amount you get it was 2 or 3 days you get like a free spin or whatever it is, and then or free roll, and then it's all from the challenges. That's it. There is no event missions like every other thing since then we've had. Like you go into the Jeff mode and it was get a win, get X amount of kills, get whatever. This doesn't have that this time, and I don't understand why that is.
Yeah.
Like it's a weekly reset. Like when you go to that page, it's every week. And it's like, why?
I think it would be so. This game is chaos. It's not as chaotic as I would like for it to be. But imagine if you did have those missions though, and it was like getting sometimes you just absolutely steamrolled and it's impossible to do anything. And it would be even more frustrating if you were going in there trying to complete a specific thing.
Yeah, that's true.
And you couldn't do that because of how dumb it is. And so
but even if it was just complete 3 matches.
I mean, that would be fine.
Which they did that with the Jeff mode. It was like do 3 of Jeff's Winter Wonderland.
Get some health packs.
But I feel like that's sometimes what happens in Overwatch. Sorry, like I love Overwatch, don't get me wrong. But it's like there's so many, comparisons, not analogs, that's what I mean. It's like sometimes in an Overwatch event, it'll be like you have to win 20 matches like to unlock this thing. And it's like, but I don't even like the mode.
Yeah.
So like that's starting me off on the wrong foot, and I gotta win 20, like not just play 20. Like come on.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, it's one of those things that it's cool. It's there. And I mean, Kenz, you said you already got the skin, right?
Yeah, I just rolled lucky, so I'm never gonna play it again.
I'm still well. See, here's what's keeping me going was I've done a lap, so I've gone through and got onto my second lap, and I was worried that you were gonna have to be stuck. Like maybe landing on a place where you've already unlocked something, the spaces you've already unlocked don't count. So once you lap, like if eventually
you'll get it.
Yeah, eventually you're going to get it. So it's 24 unlocks basically that are on that map. So as long as you're rolling enough to get it, and I have the Cerebro
I got that too.
spray, which is awesome, by the way. Cool. Hint at what may be coming soon. I think the nameplate, maybe I got one of the nameplates. So a couple cool little things in there.
I got a spray too and some blue credits.
But the thing that I want the most is the gallery page. And how you get that? 20 you got to get all 24 unlocks to get that.
Oh.
But again, that's not by playing the mode, it's just by doing the challenges. You get those. I mean, you do get like every couple days they give you like free credit or whatever, a free roll.
Yeah.
But other than that, it's just the challenges. So I'm just going to continue doing my challenges, and hopefully I'll make my way around to get enough, because I want all the gallery pages. That's what they're like. They're tying me to, because of course there's usually lore tied to those as well, and I want to be able to have that in my gallery. So, but yeah, that's what's keeping me going. So, anything else? Any accomplishments this week? Did you guys get anything? Any?
I am officially silver 2.
Nice.
So
nice.
Another quick plug for the Discord. I love when people have been sharing their rank progression, because like you can tell it's like, guys, even if it is, like to silver 2, no offense, like
that's
silver 2 is
big
great.
deal. It's a
better than Matt.
Higher than mine because I don't play competitive anymore. But it's just like, I'm so stoked whenever anybody posts about that. So if you need somebody gassing you up, join the Discord. If you are a part of it and haven't shared yet, do it. We'd love to celebrate with you.
Yeah. And I mean, there's people in there who are the higher levels that will not only encourage you, but also give you tips, which is awesome. So
hot tips.
Yeah. And you can share your clips in there too, as well. So
yeah, I saw some sweet clips this week in there.
That's an awesome Thor play.
Yep.
Yes.
So go join the Discord.
Yeah.
You can find it in the show.
Some good dirtbag cap play too.
Loving it.
Yep. All right. Well, let's move on here to our news segment, guys, that we call the Not So Daily Bugle News.
J. Jonah Jameson here.
All right. Well, it would not be a week here of Rivals Assemble and another week in Marvel Rivals if we were not talking about brand new skins in the game. And this week, we have 2 new ones, of course. First one was coming from, actually, we saw this in the alpha. I think it was even in the beta. Was it in the beta, the Loki, or was it just the alpha?
I believe it
One
was
of
in the
them.
beta.
Yeah. So it is the presidential Loki has been announced, Loki presidential attire, as well as Storm's Goddess of Thunder costume. So,
That's cool.
Yeah, this is what they said. They said, ascend to divinity with Storm's Goddess of Thunder and Loki's presidential attire costumes. These heroes surpass mere mortals as the might of Asgard courses through them, waiting to be shown on the battlefield. So by the time you're listening to this, they should be up and available in the store. Let's see. The Loki one, they say, lead the world to utter chaos. America, if I were your president, I'd have the guts to lie right to your face. Vote Loki to make things sane again with his presidential attire costume first appearing in Vote Loki 2016 #1. So, Neil, you played some Loki tonight. Are you going to be jumping into this skin?
No. One reason because I don't really know the reference. Did he become president in the show as well?
Just you wait.
No.
It was just
Baby
this
girl.
vote locally thing. And number 2 is I have this butcher god killer Loki skin, so I don't need it.
He showed up as
President
a
Loki is in the show.
variant. Yeah.
Yeah.
But he was not
Okay.
like it was a cameo. Like
wasn't the
they
main
showed a bunch
character.
of different variants.
Because there was an alligator one or something too, right?
Right.
I
It's
haven't seen the
that
show.
part. Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
yeah.
That's kind of my thought, Neil, is like the fact that they put that butcher skin
Yeah.
with the battle pass, which is like
Can't beat it.
seriously one of the sickest skins in the whole game. Like it is
Yeah.
probably top 5 skins in the
It's
whole
so
game.
cool.
Like it is sweet. That I guess unless you're a hardcore Loki player, I don't know why you would be jumping into this. I guess
Maybe you missed it. Was it?
I
it was season
actually
0 Battle
like
Pass, right?
the Loki season 2 skin better than the all butcher.
Oh, yeah.
really.
But that's just me.
Mm,
Yeah.
Hot
Whoa.
take.
Whoa.
Meh.
mm.
Meh.
I don't
Ken.
Disapproving.
I'll have to see it, but maybe that's why I thought this might have been tied to that because I remember there was a MCU skin for Loki.
Have
This
you had a
isn't it.
Super Mario hat on this entire time, Neil?
Yes, I have.
Yeah.
Happy
Where
Mario
have you
Day.
been?
3 days ago.
Am
It
I?
He
was,
put it on 3
March-
days ago.
I'm
March
fine.
10th.
I'm
haven't
okay.
taken it off.
Sorry.
What's in that Celsius, Matt? Are you doing okay?
Not enough strawberry. Too much watermelon, in my opinion.
Let's see the Storm skin. It says electrify the battlefield. Wolverine is not dead yet, Queen of Hell, and you should never have him. While Storm has breath and power to defy you. Defy all odds as Storm's Goddess of Thunder costume first appearing in X-Men Annual 1970, #9. So this skin is pretty awesome, man.
I am upset that I spent my currency on the Venom skin last week because this
Wow.
one is
It's so
this one is up there for me, man. I really want it.
I mean,
really
Ken,
bad.
just pull out that wallet, man. That's all you got to do.
Not time. I refuse.
Wow. Okay.
But I will obtain this skin at some point by playing the game.
Well, it might
In-
go away. It might not be available.
Yes.
Yeah.
What are you gonna
Yes,
do?
they did it from you.
Be sad.
Cry. Cry blue credit tears.
Like an adult.
Yeah.
What I love is that it is the historic look of the comic appearance, that from the 1970s, but it's done in the art style of the new Storm book, and the style that kind of started in X-Men Red when she became like the leader of that book with like the beautiful big white hair.
It's kind of
and-
bluish here.
Kind of
Sweet.
lending into, I
Like an afro.
believe, correct me if I'm wrong, like RJ Dauterman's art style, who did the Scarlet Witch as well, because Storm is also heavily in that book at one point, in the most recent version of it.
Cool.
But it's just beautiful, beautiful uniform.
Yeah.
Is that what it's called? Costume? Uniform?
Costume.
Costume.
Her
Yeah.
Goddess of Thunder costume.
So she's holding the hammer here.
Meow meow.
Does,
Meow,
does she
meow,
actually
meow, meow.
get to throw it?
No, it's just in like her
MVP screen?
victory screen. I think she has an emote where she pulls it out.
It'd be cool
It
if
spins around,
because
yeah.
she has a team up with Thor to get the extra lightning attack or something.
Yep.
cool if that was like
Oh, she
him
threw the
throwing
hammer.
her the hammer. And then she
Oh,
threw
What
the
if
hammer.
what if she
Wow.
threw what if instead of becoming the hurricane, she whirled up the hammer and threw it and the hurricane was like
Yes.
around?
Oh,
That'd be dope.
hire
Good
us.
Pretty sweet.
Guan.
If skins
Well,
could
God,
change
call him
team
up.
up, that would be
Listening.
wild.
Skin
well-
can change the world.
She got a
This
sick
looks
Thor
great.
skin.
She also has the cool mohawk skin, so I don't know. I
Storm has some awesome skins.
She does.
Couldn't choose
Storm is
between
just
people.
awesome, man. Like
Yeah.
Storm is
it is what it is. She's a
the
goddess.
best.
Yeah, so those are available now as you're listening to this. So go check those out. Let's see. Also, while you're tuning in here to this and available now, are the season 1.5 Twitch drops. So if you are ever watching us on Twitch, if our Twitch is working, you can get drops from us, or just go watch some of your favorite Marvel Rivals streamers. You have all the way until April 3rd, and they're continuing the Will of Galacta trend of things. So they have the Will of Galacta Adam Warlock spray, the Will of Galacta Adam Warlock nameplate, and the Will of Galacta costume for Adam Warlock. So 30 minutes gets you the spray, 1 hour gets you the nameplate, and 4 hours gets you the skin. And
You're eventually gonna have a whole Will of Galacta like team.
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Yeah. I
Close
hope
to
so.
it now.
Well,
One
we've only got 3, right?
we have Magneto,
Magneto,
Hela, Warlock, and then because you know what, the first round they didn't
which
do
one? No.
a Will of Galacta. They just did like a Human Torch
They did
spray.
a s-
I think it was, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they did
Spray
sprays
nameplate.
and
One thing with this spray, how is this an Adam Warlock spray? It's Galacta.
Yeah.
oh well, yeah, that's none of these have been like character specific. All the Twitch drop ones have been Galacta.
But
stuff.
why are you calling it?
But they
an
call
Adam
it, yeah,
Warlock
Adam
spray?
Warlock Will of Galacta spray.
Because it was during the Will of Galacta through
Adam
the
Warlock
Adam
event.
Warlock Will of Galacta drop event.
Fix it, Guan Guan. I don't like it.
I think
It's free. Quit complaining.
yeah, I think this skin is pretty cool, but again, I just got my season pass skin, which is awesome. And I know Ken's was getting MVPs last week with it. So
I actually prefer the Magneto Will of Galacta skin over
I use that.
the current Battle Pass one.
yeah.
Over King Magneto.
I
or
do too.
whatever
I
it
think I
is?
do too.
I swap them. I swap
Talk about
between them.
hot take.
They're both cool,
Interesting.
but I like
Disapproving,
the purple Magneto.
I've been on the fence about buying the Magneto. What is the skin called? Where he like, I just love that MVP screen, man. Where he's like, you know,
Oh, he's walking down the thing.
X behind him. Oh, it's so good.
Yeah.
And that skin is sick.
What? Back to Adam Warlock. He has the lantern, right? Or no? Or is that Bucky that has the lantern on his hip? I think that's Bucky.
Warlock
Never
has
mind.
he has a book. He's like a priest. He looks like a
Okay.
Yeah. And the red
Because I was
hood and cape.
Slight aside. Solo Leveling season 2 is my current cardio show right now. And I was watching an episode today, and one of the characters is like a mage, and he has like his spell casting thing is like a lantern, and so like his fireballs come from the lantern.
That's
and like
sick.
he holds them up, and I was like, "Whoa, that's like Adam Warlock in the skin," but it's not. It's Bucky. So
Nice.
He has like a
that-
scepter. He's like a little
yeah,
thing.
Very cool. You know what? One of the things I did do this week, I guess I'm like 200 of the currency away from unlocking completely the battle pass. I'm just, all I need is the Fantastic Four frame at the end of the battle pass, and then I've unlocked everything in the battle pass. And I didn't buy the boosted, and I didn't use any currency. It's just like straight up just doing challenges and all that. So if you would have been doing the dailies and the challenges every single day, every single one, like basically tomorrow will be the day you'll have unlocked everything, or could have been able to do that. So yeah, I'm gonna do that tomorrow, which I'm pretty stoked about, because then I can finally jump into comp and just worrying about trying to get gold. Because that's what happens. Like when I have to work on those challenges, I don't want to be doing those in competitive. It's always like I just want to focus on those dailies, get those done, and now it's like I don't even have to look at them every day, and I can just move on and do what I got to do to just.
it's like kids, right?
That's right. Don't pay attention to them. Whatever. Go in the corner, kids.
They'll be
I'm
fine.
not a parent. I don't know.
Yeah.
got
I know
dogs.
they added that last page of the battle pass where you transfer your purple
Yep.
points to blue points, but do you only unlock that when you pay for the premium, like the boosted battle pass?
No.
Or anyone can.
I
do
mean,
it.
by
You can
this
do it.
point, you would be accruing those right now. Like if you had
Yeah.
done that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I am not going to buy anything else, and I'm just going to whatever else I
Clip that.
from the battle pass. Whatever else I earn from extra purple, I'll turn into blue.
There you
So
go.
Can you do
I want to try to get at least 200.
I thought-
You can convert whatever you don't use.
I thought
Mhm.
that they said they would automatically buy whatever you don't have.
That's
and
what
there
I
would
thought it
only
was
be
too, yeah.
Any excess, you would become blue.
So, like in my case, any that I accrue after
Oh.
having bought the Fantastic Four, those will carry over and be converted.
Maybe
I
if
thought
it's
it-
if,
oh, that's
if
a
you
bummer.
don't elect to.
I thought I had to buy. I
Transfer.
thought they were going to buy the whole battle pass for you, and then whatever was left over.
Yeah.
Fact
We
check.
shall see.
Yep.
Check our episode
Get on it.
5 episodes ago.
Let's see. We also had a new patch and a hero balance that was coming out. So, did you guys get any chances to kind of dig through some of these and kind of see what was coming along the way?
I looked at the hero balances, and nothing really jumped out to me as too crazy. The only one that I was interested in was Cloak and Dagger because that's the only one that I play.
Mhm.
And it was a little bit of a buff, but then where's the specifics? It was like a buff to one ability and a slight nerf.
Increase
something.
your auto attack healing from your Light Force Dagger from 10 to 16. Reduce the spell field healing amount from
That's pretty
18
huge.
to 16 per hit.
Yeah.
So,
Into 16 is significant.
yeah, that's nice.
Oh, okay. Oh no, the other
Well-
one I think is what it is. Decreasing the spell field.
Yeah,
from
18 to 16.
Yeah.
That was the one I was okay.
It's like, okay, that's fine. But that's every tick, I guess, right? So
I mean, didn't we see Cloak and Dagger was already like one of the most used healers just on the page, right? So we know people are using them like crazy because they can heal. I
Yeah.
mean, for me, they are my most effective healer that I play.
Yeah.
And now you're going to tell me that I'm going to be healing a little bit more? Like,
Well, they got a nerf
With
the
your
ultimate,
single.
right? In the last patch, didn't they nerf the ultimate a little bit?
they
yeah,
did.
it doesn't
Yep.
stack now, I think.
And so now they're getting a buff here. So a little wishy washy with the
It's
Cloak and
more
Dagger.
on it's single target heals is better, but it's AoE heals from your magic ball spell field. That's getting down. So if you hit your spell field and you're hitting all your allies, it should be a big hit to your heals there, but your single target is going up. My favorite part about Cloak and Dagger is kind of the auto aim. So I like to play them when there's an annoying flyer on the other team. and
Yes.
that's how I
Yep.
take care of them.
Yep.
But there was only 3 heroes. So it was Cloak and Dagger, Iron Man, and Human Torch that
Annoying
got the
flyers.
changes.
Human
so-
Torch getting the boost too was
Yeah,
pretty good.
flyers, yeah.
His primary attack is getting a nice little
Increased speed and
boost.
damage.
I saw an interesting article this week. I don't recall where it was, but it was in regards to these patch notes, and the headline, which, forgive me, I'm a journalist, so I'm always dissecting headlines and whether or not it's a fair judgment of the actual content. And it was Marvel Rivals attempts to pull its worst character like out of the dumpster with this, and I was like,
A little
Huh?
dramatic.
Who is the
like this is a human referring
They're
to
all
Human
good
Torch.
characters.
wow?
Yeah, I was like, what a hot take. Well, one, it was probably just clickbait, which they succeeded in because it was
Clicked
just
it.
a run of the mill, like somebody needed to boost SEO or whatever because it was legitimately just whatever was in these patch notes. They wrote it again. It's like when a TV website's like, how can I stream Disney Plus's Daredevil Born Again? Go to Disney Plus. What do you mean? Why did you write an article about this? What? Anyway,
Filled with ads.
but right. But I think Iron Man is the most significant one here.
Mm-hmm.
Decreasing repulsor blast from 55 to 40.
That's a lot.
So
That's
when they
damage,
say
right? Direct
spell
hit
field,
damage.
what do they mean? Because
It's an AoE, like it blows up at the end.
yeah.
So if you're not getting hit directly, then you're getting hit with the spell field damage. So that's being increased from 35 to 50. So that's better for me because I have terrible aim.
So is that a game term or is that a gaming term?
Spell
makes
field
sense.
damage.
Yeah, like
Probably
Any
both.
sort of
why
field.
wouldn't you just say like AoE, right?
Spell field, yeah, area of effect.
I mean, I think it's probably kind of both. I mean, they're probably using it in terms of like a MOBA. Your characters are casting a spell or like a
because AoE could also mean things like Cloak
Literally.
and Dagger's ultimate.
Yeah, putting a
Could
field
be an
down.
AoE and
Gotcha.
things like that. So
That's me legitimately trying to learn.
this is like an
know.
effect of a projectile.
Got
Is spell field.
Yep. Let's see. We also just had the typical patch that they've been putting out here. This is patch 2025-0314, which by the time you'll hear this, should be out to you. And kind of the typical stuff in there. A lot of fixes to any issues on the platforms, and then of course all the fun stuff where like Penny Parker's Purdue predicament, Venom's aerial anomaly, Bucky's reload rumble. So all kinds
All
of
the alliterations.
We would Wumble.
all these little things. You think Guan Guan writes these? Who's writing these? It's not Guan Guan. I don't know who's writing.
I don't think he bothers himself
He's
with
the
probably an
director
AI.
of these
the
puns.
literature.
Yeah, but yeah, go read those patch notes. Nothing too big in there, but I think the big one definitely is the hero balances of those three. So
Good bathroom read.
and I don't want to say I'm surprised, but I was almost thinking like the minute I saw this, I was like, oh, they're doing something to Bucky. Like, what are they doing?
Yeah.
And he wasn't in here, so I don't know because
The amount of Bucky is very much in the meta right. Winter Soldier, I'm sorry, is very much in the meta right now. I have I met a new friend recently because somebody said again at an event I was at, and because my intrusive thoughts won, I went, oh, again. Somebody from across the room connected eyes with me and mouthed the word rivals. I said, oh yeah. And so like that's how much Winter Soldier's on everyone's mind. The amount of times that I've been agained with that stupid, like Kraken fist in these matches, like I feel like it's every match. Everyone is playing this guy to the death.
for sure, man. He's definitely there right now. But hey, no changes. So but that's one of the cool things that this team does is they, if somebody is even if they're perceived as broken or whatever, they kind of let it ride a little bit and bump some of these other people up, and that's kind of the fun of being in a community with a game like this is like there's constantly changes and heroes come and go and in the meta, and that's just kind of fun with it. Let's see. Also here in the news, the North American Rivals Invitational teams have been announced. Come on. This is the one everybody's been waiting for, right? Kicks off by the time you're hearing this. It should be going. We have 100 Thieves, Envy, FlyQuest, NTMR, Rad Esports, Sentinels, Shikigami, and Shroud's team. Shroud X is in this.
Shroud X.
So $100,000 on the line. This goes from March 14th till March 23rd. I think actually tonight before we went on the air, they put out the talent and all that's going to be casting it and the guests that are going to be on the streams. So if you want to see some really cool Marvel Rivals esports, this is the time to be watching for sure, because these are definitely the pros are going to be in this one.
And good quality. Not that their casters haven't been, but they booked like I feel like bigger names.
Yeah, they did for sure. Yep.
I'm especially excited to watch Nightmare and Sentinels. So if you don't know, the Sentinels team is almost entirely comprised of players that were on Team Nightmare in the alpha and the beta up until recently when Sentinels announced that they were doing their Rivals team. So it's going back to like the old rivalry between like the people you left behind. I'm sure there's not any like weird feelings or anything, but they look like great lineups across the board.
Cool. All right. Yeah. So keep an eye out for that. Of course, that'll be over on the Rivals Twitch channel and usually on the YouTube. They're kind of streaming it to both places. And I'm sure a lot of creators will have their own streams of it going as well. But this is the North America Rivals Invitational happening this weekend. All right. Well, real quick here, before we move on past the news, and this isn't necessarily news, but this has been coming up all across the community for the past week. I've seen YouTube videos about it. Hell, they've even been talking about it in our Discord. I've seen it on the Reddit page, the social media posts. So everybody's been talking about competitive and ranking up in competitive, and that I think what it is we're starting to find people that are like Celestial, Grandmaster, and all that are starting to say that they're thinking players are playing with them that really shouldn't be there. And the idea is that players are just ranking up through the ranks of competitive just by playing enough or getting boosted just by playing a crap ton of games. And essentially, and I've noticed this myself too. So like a lot of times when I win a game, I'll get, 23, 24 points for my level. But then I'll lose a game and I'll lose like 16, 14, something like that. So the idea is if you're just going 50-50, you're winning 50%, losing 50%, in the end, you're still going to be accruing a positive amount of points and just play enough games and you're slowly going to make your way up through the ranks.
Yeah.
I don't want to say this has been confirmed, but it has. I mean, people that if you're playing competitive, you're going to see it. Like you can literally see those numbers and it's changing.
I think that it's even less than 50. I think the math is 44%.
44%
is your win rate that you need. You need 44% win rate and you'll continue to climb as long as you play.
Yeah. So a lot of this is coming from, you look at a game like Overwatch or League or any of these other really highly competitive games. And those games are usually, you're winning just as much as you're losing points in the what do you call it? What's the number in the background? The your MR.
MMR.
Yeah,
MMR?
your MMR. So some games you don't see
DDR?
it, but were you one of those kids, Matt? Did you go to the arcade and do that?
Oh yeah, my Dan, Mr. Gordy.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's a story for another time.
Awesome. But sometimes you don't actually see those numbers. But of course, those games, because they're more highly competitive, you don't have this more lenient method of ranking up. So again, we've seen a lot of these people who have transitioned from Overwatch or some of these more competitive games now putting out videos this week talking about it and saying, hey, what is the viewpoint? Some people don't like it. Some people like it. Some people think maybe it's cool for the lower ranks, but not for the higher ranks. I'll throw it out to you guys. What do you think of this idea that just playing enough games in competitive could potentially just have you slowly march your way up to achieve those higher ranks?
What a weird thing to be mad about. Can I just say that? Like, imagine being so pressed by a free game that someone else is climbing up in a game that has nothing to do with you. Sure, okay, you might lose a match or, some matches because they are not at the level that you are. It's a game. If you're you are not, the people who are complaining about this are not the people who are on pro teams, who are getting paid, who have signed contracts to play this game as professionals. Right. If anything, it is a minority of vocal streamers who, one, get more engagement because they make this type of content. But right. Two, if you keep deranking, that's more content for you. Just do another rank up stream. I don't know. I think it's such a weird thing to be this mad about. I can understand being frustrated, but to say rank inflation and all this stuff.
Yeah, that's a word. Yeah.
Guys, chill.
You bring up a good point, Matt. The pro players don't care about this, right? If you're a pro player, it doesn't matter. So the people that it matters to is, one, if you want to try and get these fancy nameplate things and show everybody how cool you are. And then even with the in-game tournament, as soon as you make golds, then you can be a pro player and you can win that in-game tournament. So, yeah, I don't know why people are upset about it. I guess it devalues their title if everyone can get it, kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean,
that means nothing in real life.
Right. I mean, yes, but to some people, and I mean, I'm going to, I guess, kind of play devil's advocate in that, is to some people, that is that badge of honor. That is that thing to show that they played. Now, the only thing I would say, and kind of where I think my viewpoint on just saying whatever, it's fine, is I think Rivals, compared to a game like League or compared to a game like Overwatch, it's much more of a casual competitive game, which I guess is kind of a weird way to say it. But I think it's because of the IP of Marvel. This game, no matter what, is always going to have that casual audience that's coming in just to play the silly, cute shark, or the people coming in to play Spider-Man, or the people who
Yeah.
love Storm and that's all they're coming there to play. They love the X-Men, whatever it is. So to have something that's accessible and then allow those people to have a reward of, like, let's say just make it to gold and get that skin. Just play enough games, you're gonna be able to get that reward and have that little badge of honor and throw on that gold skin that you got, and good enough. I guess I could see the people who are getting the things to the nameplate where it's top 500 or whatever those other things are. I guess I could see that, but I still would not devalue anybody who just played a crap ton of games and still got it, because they played a crap ton of games, and chances are they're probably better than me. So
if you're frustrated and that your games aren't going well because there are people who shouldn't be there because their skill level is that much lower, you should be able to pull yourself back up eventually. If your skill level is that, it's interesting.
How many people at that level are playing solo too?
Yeah,
I would
that's
want
the
to
thing.
know. You know, I mean, I would almost think that it's more solo players that are getting there by grinding it out rather than a team of people. Now, the other argument, well, Ken's actually, what are your thoughts? Because you haven't even jumped in on this.
I was letting you guys have it. I think that it's tough. I think it's tough for me to comment on because it doesn't affect me in any way. I will not. I play this game. This is my most played game right now. But for me, that's still only like maybe 30 minutes, maybe an hour a night, if that. Sometimes not at all. So I'm not going to be one of these people that has hundreds and hundreds of hours in this game, thousands of hours, and those thousands of hours have allowed me to rank up. If I'm going to rank up, it's going to be because I have to literally get good. Because I don't have the time, and I respect the people that have the time and that can do that and can rank up in that way. I wonder just the kind of the social context of it, of like, we know that the Rivals ranking system is more lenient than Overwatch, in that they have the Chrono Shield, and you lose a lot more than you gain. But I'm not someone that is experiencing this, but I just wonder what it feels like, because there's always going to be something that you want to blame because you're not
100%.
doing well.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, this
Not
is
yourself
just,
though.
yeah, exactly. It's never my fault,
Yep.
So it's like, this is just kind of another thing to point a finger at as to why you might be losing. And so I do wonder, like, what's the in comparison to something like Overwatch and something with a more intricate, refined matchmaking system with the MMR, which sucks, by the way, which really feels bad. Like, I played so much Overwatch competitive, and to be stuck in the same rank for seasons on seasons and seasons is the worst feeling ever.
Yeah.
And it's why I stopped playing that game. It's why I stopped playing competitive in Overwatch. And so this, at least for someone like me, it feels good to be able to, to make a little bit, at least to not, because in Overwatch it seemed to be the opposite, where it's like you gain like 5 points and then you lose like 30 or 50,
Yeah.
and so, but anyway, but I wonder kind of what if you compare the two, what are we blaming? And this is just kind of the easy.
I just still wish in this game we would do placement matches. I do
too.
Like, I love that in
yeah.
Overwatch. I mean, yeah, it sucks every season. You got to go in there and play 10 matches. Right? Isn't it usually 10 matches you got to play?
Yeah.
Yeah. I still think that's a great idea, because then they put you in there, see how you do, and then they maybe put you with a little bit higher level players, and then they really should be just encompassing all your competitive history, so they kind of know where to kind of start you and kind of feel you out, give you some tough matches, give you some easy matches, and let that kind of ride out, rather than just the start at ground zero and work your way up. Now, granted, every season we're not going to be going all the way back.
But this also brings up the point of, they had that mid-season rank reset,
right?
And that they didn't do.
And everyone was up in arms about how terrible that would be. And now we didn't get that. And there is an inflation of ranks in some of the higher ranks, which the devs were probably aware of would happen because they know what the ranking system does.
What have we said
Almost
before?
like let
gamers don't
developers
really know what they want.
hesitate.
Like, let the devs dev. Like, there's a reason why those people have those jobs.
So who knows? Maybe that was their theory of like, let's have this to see how it works. Maybe it wouldn't have worked. Maybe it would still feel the same way. But that seemed to be their solution to this.
watching a lot this week. I watched Guru, who's a big Overwatch player, does I don't know if mainly rivals now.
He's the big
He
Namek
hit-
and Nameki. I know.
He hit
Namek.
rank 1 this week on an alt account. And then Gale, another Overwatch player, hit rank 2 on an alt account. And once they hit these ranks, it was okay, well, it wasn't their main account. I think Guru's is like Tim the Tapman, and then Gale's is like Ryan Gosling. And then it was like, okay, well, let's grind like the main account or another alt account. And so that's where I think we get some of the more classic arguments of where these high ranked, literally like the number 1 ranked player, showing up in these lower lobbies. And that's one of the more classic frustrations of competitive. But I don't see how it's like people can be okay with that and can be okay with somebody wanting to grind, 2, 3, and 4 accounts to get to the top and then complain about this over here,
Yeah.
Is that just me, or is that
I don't know, man. It's just been an interesting conversation, and I'm interested to see what NetEase is going to do because they didn't do the rank reset they were going to do, and they kind of put out the statement saying like moving forward we're going to do this, but now this is coming up as a discussion. Are they going to have to backtrack on some of that? Are they going to just decide to do something totally different? It's kind of one of those things like, who knows? So we're just going to have to just wait and see, I guess. All right. Well, that's enough about that. Let us know your thoughts on that. Send us an email, us over on Spotify, or join our Discord, because they were talking about this the other day, and I think it is definitely a discussion happening around the Rivals community for sure. Pretty much everywhere you went this week, you could just see some people chatting about it. But
the grocery store, the tag office,
the guy
DMV.
you see across the hall, and you say, again, that guy. But all right, well, let's move on here to our lore segment that we call the Cerebro Files. All right, well, we did get a message from Stu this week about this lore dump, and he said, I'm low-key excited for the Loki lore dump next week. I know he's a little hokey. He likes a jokey, has abilities with mirrors and smoky, and is probably good at karaoke. But he's our Loki. Okie dokie? You don't like that, Ben?
He's
Love
banned.
it.
He's
Incredible.
automatically banned.
Promote him to his own Loki role.
Yeah, but all right, Matt, give us the lowdown on Loki.
Okay, so I'll start this off the way I have been doing. What is your first experience with the character Loki? What do we know about Loki before coming into this?
I will say I was never a big Thor fan when I was a kid. So really just Thor in general for me was a lot of it the MCU. I mean, he was in comics and that I would read, but I never was going out of my way. So I knew of Loki, but never really, he was never in really any events as a major player in anything that I really read throughout the years in my early days of comics. And so really was Thor and then the first Avengers movie for me.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, MCU for me, I didn't, other than I knew of the Norse gods, and,
right? Yeah,
was really into some of Norse mythology lore, and was just more knowledgeable of that before even, the first Thor movie. But yeah, it was Thor, and the MCU, and then the Loki series on Disney Plus, which is incredible.
Yep, ditto for me. MCU was my first kind of look at it.
Okay.
Outside of, I guess there was also, well, I guess it's Norse, but I played in Smite. There was a Loki character that I played as well.
yes, he's good.
And he was actually
Daggers.
Michelangelo skinned.
Yes.
Ninja Turtle?
Yeah, it was great.
No,
That's it.
Loki was Raphael, and he's got the ninja
Was
size.
he?
Yeah, it's Raphael.
Fact check.
Oh,
Yep.
yeah, that's true. I think it was Apollo or somebody. That was Michelangelo. 10 points to Mark.
10
Turtle
points
power.
to Gryffindor. 6. So yeah, I think I had I kind of knew Loki, like you guys, mostly from MCU, but I was in this phase in the late 90s, early 2000s when I really got into Marvel prose novels. So like I'd walk into the Hastings, that was the bookstore we had back then before we got a Barnes and Noble, and I would just go into the fiction section, or what was the one at the mall?
Walden Books.
Yes, yeah. I'd go into Walden Books and I'd see like all the D&D books, and I'd be like, "Oh wow, these are so sick, but they're $50. No way I'll ever buy those."
How many do you
But
have now, Matt?
let's not talk about it. I got like 5 for free at DreamHack. Come on. Then I go into the fiction section and I would just scan the shelves looking for anything that had a Marvel logo on it.
Mhm.
And there were some really cool prose novels that had Loki in them, along with the Avengers and the X-Men and uh, a lot of different things. But I fear that have been lost to time because trying to find copies of those books, anyway, is difficult. Uh, but Loki, uh, the quick and dirty on Loki debuted in Journey into Mystery, 1952 was his first appearance as the Loki that we know. Uh, there was one previous appearance in the 40s, completely different character. I believe he went by Loki, the God of Death.
Whoa.
It was like a romance book. It was really weird. You can go look it up. Or you don't need to. It's not worth it.
Venus number 6,
I
1949.
love like the Marvel history of like romance novels and all that. It's so
Yeah,
funny,
that
dude.
DC has a weird history of it too.
love it.
It's so interesting.
Coming soon.
Um,
Give us a romance segment.
Yes.
but
Romance dump.
gross. Somebody's into that somewhere. So in Loki's origins, that is not how he's introduced. Is not his origin, of course. The origin comes later, but basically, in the 9 realms, uh, Odin and the forces of Asgard are fighting against the forces of Jotunheim and the King Frost Giant there. They take them all out basically, and what's left is this one Frost Giant baby. And Odin says, "I shall take him. I shall raise him as my own," and like bestows upon him a godhood. And Loki becomes the half brother of Thor and becomes a royal in Asgard. Um, and that's where we start to see this contentious brother relationship, which is very much present in the MCU films. Um, but in the comics, it was more of I don't just want to, take what Thor has. I'm jealous of what he has. It was I want to kill Thor and become king of Asgard. So Loki a little bit more cutthroat, a little bit more serious. At the same time, Loki is the classic antagonist of Thor. Um, he's been called the trickster god, and I'd say he's not much of a supervillain, more of like what's his name, Mxyzptlk in DC Comics, the Superman, like the little guy.
No.
Mxyzptlk. Try and spell the name, you won't be able to. MXY, whatever. He
Rumpelstiltskin.
shows up
Rumpelstiltskin.
and he shows up and he causes mayhem, and then like disappears, basically. Sows chaos wherever he goes, and that's Loki. Like he wants to be king of Asgard, but he's not going to go out of his way to inconvenience himself to make anybody's life too difficult. He's a great tool for writers over the years. Kind of like Adam Warlock, there have been different iterations of Loki where writers have taken it upon themselves to give him new powers, a lot of different personalities, and more specifically in the modern era, writers have really felt emboldened to play with like the binary and like the sexuality of the character, which has been really interesting and hasn't felt forced or contrived. Really just seemed natural to who Loki is. Just someone who flows into different personalities and different experiences. And um, I think the turning point for Loki, basically over the years, he's teamed up with lots of different villains um, to try and achieve being king of Asgard. The turning point was in the event Siege or Siege of Asgard. Are you guys familiar with this at all? This was like
Rainbow Six Siege?
2000.
No, 2010.
The other one. The other Siege.
2010 Siege. Gotcha.
The Siege of Asgard. Yeah. But 2010, 2011. This is really a turning point for the character because Loki basically sacrifices himself and is killed, like killed. Um, we're not talking like
Almost
Ragnarok, asterisk there. So Ragnarok is a big. We could do a whole podcast on Ragnarok. As a kid, I was obsessed with Norse mythology and like Egyptian mythology. So like I was always about Ragnarok and seeing the Thor film happen and everything. But basically, Ragnarok is this circuitous event that happens in Asgard where basically all the gods die, everything renews and is born again, and it is set to happen throughout all time. But in in this instance, Loki has a plan so that he doesn't change. He is going to make a deal with Hela, his half sister, to have his. Since he is a villain, he's not going to go to Valhalla when he dies. He's going to go to Hell, that realm, if you will. But he makes a deal that if he can die a heroic death, his name will be taken out of the Book of Hell, and he won't go there, ensuring that he can be resurrected or get a new lease on life. Apologies for how much I'm having to clear my throat. So that happens during the siege event, where it's all his plan. I highly recommend that you read Siege and the tie-ins to this because I will not do it justice. I will try. Here we go. He has this plan to be resurrected to kind of miss Ragnarok, if you will, and control his own death. And so he arranges his way to sacrifice himself. He dies this heroic death, and he is reborn as Kid Loki, as a child in Paris, with no memory of his life, seemingly human, just on the streets of Paris. About, I'd say, like 9 to 10 and 11 years old. And it's not until Thor takes notice of this, goes to Paris, reminds him who he is by having him touch Mjolnir, and that kind of unlocks his mind and his abilities. But this is a new Loki. This is not our old Loki who has forgotten who he was. This is a new person. If you've seen Dollhouse, the Joss Whedon show, this is Echo, who has, developed while the other person has been asleep or whatever. This is a fully sentient personality, Kid Loki. It's in his own body. But the mind and the essence of old Loki are still there. In Kid Loki, being able to control his powers, he traps and confines this essence of old Loki into a crow named Ekol, which is Loki spelled backwards. And he becomes kind of like the Mimir in God of War, where it's literally like the bird on his shoulder, just kind of like telling him what he should do, always there in his ear. And through their time together, this plot unfolds where we find out that old Loki arranged to have this body created so that he could inhabit it. But Dollhouse happened. Kid Loki has learned to be a hero, has redeemed this name that he inherited with such a bloody past, and has really turned it around. We hit a point where there's this item known as the Fear Crown, and this involves Nightmare, the villain. And some bad things are going to happen if this crown isn't destroyed. But to destroy it, Loki proper has to die. And so Kid Loki faces the decision of he can turn this body over to Ecole and give him his good name that he has redeemed, and Loki can die. And it's through meeting with this kind of like godlike figure known as the Teller, who writes the stories of everyone in the universe. And it turns out old Loki met with him, gave him, found out through talking with him that he could give this information on this fear crown, this magical item, to Mephisto, so that Mephisto could rule all the hells. And the only way to, prevent all this was destroy the crown, body swap everything. And so he unknowingly set all these plans in action, not knowing that this kid would be there in the balance. And the kid Loki, makes the sacrifice, and he's like, no, I'm a hero. I have to do this. And some of the most beautiful panels I've seen in comics of these moments of where like this kid has resigned that he is going to sacrifice himself so that this villain can have another shot at life, but also more important, everyone else can, be safe. He's given 3 opportunities to say goodbye to 3 different people. One of those is Thor. And this really great moment where it's just like 2 brothers hugging, little guy, big guy. And then after the moment happens and Kid Loki is no more, Ecole is there. He's assumed the body, and it's this amazing full-page panel of him laying or like sitting on the ground in this dark, like stone chamber. Little kid holding the helm of like old Loki with like the huge spiky horns, and he's just holding it and like sobbing and like screaming out into the universe because he's realized what he's done. And this was like the true spark in the character. This is where it went from like villain to more interesting. Like he wants to make good on not his name anymore, but on the good that Kid Loki did. And so this is where he joins the Young Avengers. He becomes Loki, agent of Asgard. It's and experiences a lot of mental anguish trying to live up to the name of Kid Loki. Basically, he's still a kid at this point. And over time, the ghosts of his past basically give him 2 options: accept his true nature as a villain and the god of lies and trickery, or destroy himself. And so Loki being Loki, he chooses the 3rd option. He'll no longer be the god of lies and the trickster god. He's going to become the god of stories. He will be in charge of the narrative, not only for himself, but for everyone. And so that is Loki as we know him today, the god of stories.
Really?
Interesting.
Yeah. And powers, interesting. I couldn't even try to tell you how they've changed over the years. But yeah, this is the most recent theme in the modern age. Such great character development in recent years, taking, a classic villain, really giving them like good material. I can see why Tom Hiddleston loves coming back to this character. Some book recs, and I'll hop off because I know, Neil, I think you have some stuff to say as well. If you want a good event to jump in on, War of the Realms, good introduction to the character. Basically, Malekith, if you saw Thor the Dark World, he's the dark elf in that movie. He's conquering the 10 realms and is coming to take over Earth. And so the frost giants, the fire goblins, the trolls, the angels, the Valkyries, Roxxon, the enchantress, Loki at the side of Malekith are coming to take over Earth. Asgard is in ruins, but not all is as it seems, and Loki might be a double agent.
It's very good. Love War of the Realms.
Yeah. His first proper appearance is Avengers number 1, 1963. He's actually responsible for the Avengers getting together, like in, the first Avengers movie. they are coming together against Loki. That iconic comic cover with Iron Man in like the gold suit and Ant-Man and Wasp and all that. War of the Realms 2019. Loki, the 2019 run. This is where this is the one where he becomes
Oh yeah.
the god of stories.
Okay.
Very good. Doctor Strange number 381 in 2017. Loki becomes the Sorcerer Supreme.
Whoa.
And Stephen Strange goes to become a veterinarian. So some shenanigans ensue. And not just shenanigans, like actual serious things. Loki, Agent of Asgard is a great limited series in 2014 where basically he becomes a one-man secret service for the All Mothers of Asgard, going out and doing missions. But he figures out that he's probably being manipulated by those that he's trying to serve. And when the god of lies and trickery finds out that he's being taken advantage of, things don't turn out well. There is the President Loki book from 2016, 4-issue limited series. So this is specifically a satire book. And I believe the run was, do I still have no, it's the tagline for it is like, Loki's been a villain, a murderer, a liar, a trickster. So naturally, what would he want to do next? Be president of the United States. There's a lot. I don't feel like I need to say anything about the motivation behind the book in 2016. Draw the conclusions that you will, but gave us an iconic version of Loki regardless. The Loki book in 2010 is the precursor to the Siege event. He also has a separate book in the Siege event. That is where all this big Loki stuff starts to take place right before he's reborn as Kid Loki. And that continues for a time. Thor, the Thor title went back to its classic name of Journeys into Mystery in 2011. And so that run, fantastic as well. But that's all I got. Do you have anything, Neil?
Yeah, that sounds awesome. One fact that I found that was interesting too, Loki is the reason why Absorbing Man got his powers.
Oh,
So
nice.
Loki fed whatever his name is a potion that gave him his powers, and that set that off. And that was fairly early too, I think in the 60s at some point.
Yeah.
So I thought that was pretty cool. I think the Siege of Asgard and Ragnarok and those events sound awesome. What you mentioned one of those runs there where he became an agent of something and they were turning on him. Is that basically where the show comes in? Because I know he gets hired by like the time and space people,
The
right?
TVA.
Not really.
A bit different.
Yeah, this is different. This is more like what do I even compare it to? It's more like serving the queen. Like it's like he's more kind of James Bondy. Yeah, it's Loki, Agent of Asgard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool. So what is the show based on? Some comics then? Some other comics that you know of?
It incorporates a lot of the events from Journeys into Mystery. Kind of takes and borrows some things. So like Sylvie in the show is like in the comics, Sylvie is like the name of Lady Loki when Loki inhabits a body that was made for the resurrection of like Lady Sif, but then like he hijacks it and just takes on that name. That was, Sylvie, but now there's like a more show accurate depiction of Sylvie because the show came out, but I feel like the character Sylvie in the show is closer to Leah in the Journey into Mysteries, not Journey into Mystery, the the book where Kid Loki is basically making the decision that he is, going to give the body over to adult Loki, to Ecole. And then there are some types and shadows at the end where it's meant to imply that Leah is like the past version of Hela. And there's like a interesting, weird like romance between them as well. That's just like, I don't know if this is weird or not because they're not like related, but I mean, they are what? I don't know. So yeah, that's a lot to think about.
Yeah. Okay, cool. And another series, and I don't know what they are, but Loki convinces all of these, and it was like the first Marvel line crossover when Loki convinces villains to fight other heroes. So you had like Spider-Man fighting Magneto or something like that. Like they had the X-Men villains fighting other people, and I think that he also caused Defenders. It's either versus Avengers or Defenders Avengers team up or something like that, and it seemed like a big deal at the time. People were trying to get those crossovers, so he started the crossovers, and he was the main villain of the MCU Avengers, so he's a big deal for sure.
I feel like that's like a trope now, like the guys, let's switch up who we're fighting because they won't be able to handle my powers if I'm going against the guy who I usually don't fight.
Yeah.
That's like an easy trope, right?
But this is like one of the first times I think that it was done in mainstream, maybe.
Yeah,
I could be wrong.
Well, that's pretty cool. I checked out some of the in-game lore for Loki in here. We did talk about him a little bit in that first event too. He came up, I think, in the first event lore dump, I guess you want to call it, from season 0, where we meet our squirrel friend Ratataskar, because he's talking about, oh no, Asgard's gone to crap, Loki's taking over, Odin's sleeping, and
Dracula owes me $10.
It's all bad stuff. So Loki has taken advantage of the time stream entanglement for sure. And one thing that I saw before we get into kind of his story here is there's a little bit of lore with each team up in the game too. And the whole reason why Loki, Thor, and Hela have this team up where Hela gets final hits or whatever on the bad guys, and either Thor or Loki, they come back alive if they're dead. It's because Hela has banned Loki and Thor from her domain because they cause too much chaos. So whenever she can, she banishes them from being dead because she can't handle them all up in her business.
Huh, that's cool.
That's her heart.
So that's why that happens, if anyone was wondering. And then the story of Loki in his individual lore, it's called Destined Kingship. So he finds that the sap from the Yggdrasil tree is actually coming out with a special substance that we hear a lot about in the Rivals lore. We find out to know that it's chronovium. And so he uses some of this substance because he can manipulate it and actually travel through time with it. So he thinks, being god of mischief, he wants to go cause trouble some time. And so he's like, let's go check out future Asgard and see what I can look up there. So he uses some of it, goes to a future Asgard. It's in complete ruin. Everything has gone to heck. And actually his father, Loki,
Yeah, Laffy, yeah.
Laffy, he's the frost giant guy. He's actually the king of Asgard, and everything else is gone. So he's like, okay, this isn't good. Let's try another time stream. So he does that. It's bad news. It's bad news. He goes hundreds or thousands of different time streams. Asgard's always destroyed, and Loki is not there, sitting on top of the throne. Loki does try one more time. He sees Asgard's looking great. Loki's sitting on the throne. He's like, okay, so it is possible that I can become king of Asgard and everything turns out well. So let's make sure that this is the time projection that happens. So I'm going to start putting my plan into place here. So he thinks, okay, what do I need to do to become king of Asgard? Because, you know, that's his motivation for most of his stories. And he thinks, okay, I'm going to need some help here. So the first person he thinks of is someone called Carnilla, which I'm not familiar with. I don't know if you know who they are. There's the queen of the Norns. You don't know? Anyway, so they're tied directly in to Hela. So Hela's good friends with Carnilla, apparently. So he's like, okay, well, let's go talk to Hela and maybe she can get me in with them. So I'll tell her about this great plan and I could become king of Asgard and all that stuff. So Loki transports himself into Hela's domain, and there's a note in there about how she hates it, but can sense him whenever he does go in there. So she sends like a skeleton army to come pick him up from wherever he shows up and brings her into her throne room. And he starts telling Hela about all of his plans. How, okay, we can't have Odin on the throne anymore. He's done his job. You know, we got to get rid of him. And I have a plan. I can get rid of Thor. I can get him lost in the time stream. So the only thing I need is just your help to do it. And so he shows her what he's learned to do with the chronovium and how he can go through time. So he takes her into the future and shows her the future of her realm, and they pop back and she ends up agreeing. She's like, okay, yeah, I guess I'll come help you with this. So that's kind of where it starts off. And we know from that event that Hela and Loki team up. They put Odin in Odin's sleep, and Thor is lost in time and space. And so they've taken over Asgard. And well, now we know that our squirrel friend has been taken over by Dracula. So
bless his heart.
Yeah.
I've saved him a few times though, I think.
Yeah. Good job.
Yeah.
He thanks you.
I'm doing it. You're doing it.
You're doing it.
All right.
Swirling it.
Well, there you go. That was the Loki lore, which I know we had a lot of people asking us for some lore on Loki. So yeah, let us know what you think. Is Loki not only a character you play in game, but do you read some of the comics and all that for Loki? Let us know. Let's see. We did get an email from Sir Butters, and he said, please, please, please do the famous lore dump, or he called it Lord dump, on Scarlet Witch. He says, I've been waiting for it. Either way, y'all are amazing. I love the show. Keep up the great work. So just for you, Sir Butters, next week, we are doing Wanda herself, the Scarlet Witch. A great lore dump coming up next week. So be on the lookout for that. All right, guys. Well, let's move on here to the final segment of the show where we get you involved that we call What Ifs. All right. Well, don't forget you can reach out to us over on our socials at Rivals Assemble Pod. Or, of course, you can leave us a comment over on Spotify on this very episode, and we can read it on the show next week. Or you can shoot us an email to rivalsassemblepod@gmail.com, just like RK Trey did. And he said, hi, all. First and foremost, I want to congratulate you on creating an incredibly successful and high-quality podcast. RK Trey, thanks, man. Appreciate that. He says, this is probably the only podcast that I'll go back and listen to the most recent podcast again a few days after it's released. Awesome.
That was a double listen.
Very cool.
Wow.
He says, a few questions for you. Number one, this podcast seems to be of such high quality right from the beginning. Have you hosted previous podcasts before this one? I recall one of you mentioning hosting a podcast before, but it hasn't been mentioned more than once or twice. And number two,
That's Neil.
any tips for playing video games as a new parent? My wife and I have a child under 1, and I find it difficult to find time to play Marvel Rivals. When I do find the time, I often feel guilty for sitting down and playing a few rounds when there's always stuff around the house that I could be working on instead. Keep up the great work, And thanks for producing such an incredible podcast. All the best, RK Trey. Well, Trey, man, thank you for sending us that email. Number one, I mean, I'll just go to number one. I mean, we mentioned it earlier on the show with the Gamer Goo. But yeah, I've been podcasting like off and on just since 2009. The big one though, really that kind of hit was in 2013 when I did Guardian Radio, which was the Destiny show. We were the first Destiny podcast to come out, and we ran for like 6.5 years, and finally wrapped it up. So you can find stuff there. But then when that wrapped up, I was at that point then doing the Enthusiast Life, which is actually how I met all these guys. So the Enthusiast Life feed is still out there, so you can go catch all those. I was basically doing a show. Started out once a week, and then it was going daily, 5 days a week, just talking about whatever. And yeah, so you can go. So I've been podcasting for a while, and a lot of the structure of this show is kind of just like redoing what I did with Guardian Radio already. And it's just hilarious. It's like following the same timeline. Like we're building an incredible community. You know, the game just took off. Like it's just right time, right place, right crew. It's awesome. So we're really having a good time doing this podcast. But number two, as a new parent, some tips. And I know, Ken's and Neil, I'm going to throw it to you guys because I have my own thoughts, but I know you guys just as gamers right now with little guys. I mean, my kids are older now, so I can go what I did in the past. But what are you guys doing now to find time to game with little ones running around the house? Or rolling around the house, or pooping around the house.
Yeah, I'm Neil's even more experienced than me, but I'm a bit of a new parent with a 3-year-old and a 6-month-old, and so I'm still in the baby life right now. So even a little behind this guy in some ways. But the biggest thing with this is, he says, "How do you find time?" You don't really have it. It's you kind of just have to. You literally have to make it, and you can't do everything. I think that the guilt, I definitely feel that guilt for sure. It's like I could be doing other things, I could be doing whatever, but having a good communication, with your partner to make sure that you guys are having time together, and also time to yourselves is also really important. And if you can find ways to make that happen after bedtime, then things can work. For me, it's my wife goes to bed a bit earlier than I do, so we put the kids to bed, I hang out with her for an hour or two, she goes to bed, and then I play video games for like 30 minutes to an hour, and then I go to bed. And so it may not work that way for everybody. I know Mark's in the morning, is his thing. Yeah. So
I mean, dude, literally, that's what I've been doing since 2009, since I started podcasting about video games. Was I just get up early. You get up every day around 5 a.m., game, for an hour and a half in the morning before work. And then when my kids became of age, it was, before school, getting ready for school. But I just had to make the time, that was literally what it was. It wasn't, because, you can't be middle of the day. All right, daddy's going to go in here, like, go have fun. Like, no.
Sometimes if the nap time works out, you might be able to squeeze a little bit in, but that's always a coin flip. You never know.
What about you, Neil? How are you working, man?
I know you do the mornings, Mark, and that inspired me to try it a few times over the years.
That's it.
The one thing is
sleep. Who needs sleep?
Yeah. Well, I don't get it at nighttime anymore. Like
that's right.
I lose my sleep at the night hours instead of the morning. But every time I'm like, okay, I'll go to bed early. I'm going to wake up early. I'm going to play some games, set the alarm. I get up, make a coffee, get ready to play some games. As soon as I sit down, one of my kids is up. That's just what it is. Yeah. I don't know if it's just they're light sleepers in the morning. Like they wake up early all the time. So I cannot trust those hours of my day. My evening hours are, if I want to stay up and play video games, I'm cutting in my sleep. And that's when I'm going to do it. And they're usually pretty good after we get them down. So I'm a father of 3 now. I've got a 6-year-old, a 3-year-old, and my son just turned 1 last week, actually. So I don't know how I'm doing this, really. But I guess I'm not sleeping.
It's the one that's the thing, man.
Right? That's it.
we've all been doing this, the four of us here, for what, probably 3 years almost, getting together almost literally every Thursday.
This was already dedicated time, so
Right.
it was easy to just slide right in and
Right. This
do
was
a
our
podcast.
D&D night, our Overwatch night, whatever it was we were doing. It was game night every Thursday night for the four of us. Two things. One, to you, Neil, the kids being light sleepers. My wife and I have always done this since we've lived together.
Baby
but
Benadryl, right?
no, box fans. We sleep with box fans cranked to 3. So even the kids, when they were younger, we started with that, so they can't hear a thing. So everything is just
They have
drowned
sound
out.
machines
So
now,
they're
Mark,
not
to do
hearing you
that.
get up in the morning. But I mean, what did you say?
I said they have sound machines that do that now, Mark.
Yeah, but no, dude, the sound machine. But the problem with me with the sound
We
machine
had
is
the horse just walk in a circle,
you-
turning the crank.
I can hear the loop. You can hear the loop. They try to make them where they go. No. You can hear it.
Oh yeah, it is. Yeah, you can hear
Fine,
the loop.
it doesn't
There it
work.
goes.
Box fan.
Yeah.
But number 2, you just got to give it time, because you know what? Now that my kids are teenagers, they want like nothing to do with me. So when they get a little bit older, it gets a little bit easier, because then the kids are just like, all right, whatever. They don't care, So it's like, okay, well, my wife's doing whatever she's doing. So it's like, okay, well, guess I'll go play a game.
Yeah,
So that's
I'll
why a
even-
lot of times on the weekends, I kind of have time, like Saturday afternoon or a Sunday. Kids are with friends doing whatever they're doing. My wife, goes out with my sister-in-law shopping. It's like, all right, well, I got 2 hours on a Saturday, 3 hours. Why not? I'll sit down and play some games.
I'll say that even like getting into a groove of ages, like, whenever my daughter was like, 18 months to like 2, she napped for a long time, went to bed a lot earlier, was kind of in a stage. And I kind of hit a groove with like being able to play video games a lot more during that time. Now I have a baby, and so I'm kind of starting all over. And so it's they're kind of different phases where, you'll get more time and you'll get less. But the big thing is that it's all temporary. It's not all going to be that way forever.
Yep. And the cool thing too is, as they get older, like my son, I mean, unfortunately he doesn't want to play Rivals, but like you can play the games with them, so you can get your game time in. Like for us, it was, my kids grew up through the Wii and that. So we were playing Wii Sports. We were playing all those games, and then the Wii U came out. And so it was all those games that we got to have a lot of fun playing together as a family. So, find those moments too. I mean, obviously wait till they get a little bit older, make sure they're of age, but that was a lot of fun having game time with the family. So
Paper Mario is a big hit in my house. We've played through the intro probably 50 times by now. They just want to start the new game, start it over,
That's
and
funny.
then they just like throw confetti everywhere. It's a lot of fun for sure. I think as a new parent, one thing with Rivals, it's a multiplayer game, right? Which with a baby, you can't really, you don't know, they could wake up at any time if you're trying to play while they're sleeping. So I did not play multiplayer games when they're that young, where they can wake up anytime, because that you're gonna have to let your team down and just log off. So
There has been the off time where if I'm playing Overwatch with Neil and it's like, hey, you want to jump in voice chat? And he's like, nope, I'm in bed, or like I'm in the kids' room in the chair.
I'm on the Switch.
yeah on the
Like-
Switch.
Okay.
hot tip though too, I will say, hot tip, mobile games are great because you can have kid in an arm or do whatever, but if you need
for
your
sure.
Marvel fix, Marvel Snap is always there. I'm going to throw it out there.
There
I
you
know
go.
it's a rabbit hole some people don't want to go down, but quick matches, you get your Marvel fix,
It's perfect.
you're collecting, it is a great game to
You got the baby, you got a bottle in one hand,
Yep.
and the other hand is snapping it.
Snap is a good one. So
Yeah, any single player games too. You can, anything you can pause is good to have, and then once you start figuring out their sleep and you can do it, then scheduling is huge. As Ken said, you gotta let go of that life you used to live and know it's going to be different now. And as they say, it's not forever, but just roll with the punches, enjoy it as it comes.
let's see, we got another one over on Spotify. This comes to us from Robert McCamill. And he says, sup guys, love the pod. And I was wondering where you guys stand on if quick play is a practice mode for you for competitive. Because some people act like quick play is competitive, and the people that play competitive use quick play just to hit mission achievements with characters they never played before or are trying to get the hang of. I hope I was clear in my question. I think you were, Rob. I think you were. So I think what he's saying is, some people act like quick play is the hardcore, like that's their mode, and some people take quick play way too serious. where
Enough Spider-Man.
a lot of the people that play competitive just, dip into quick play just to knock out the missions and achievements. I guess I'm probably of those other people where I play quick play to do my missions and achievements. I'm never going into competitive to do any of those, and I won't even touch competitive until I knock out the missions in that. Which, I mean, I talked about at the top of the show. Like that's one of the reasons I've kind of stayed clear of competitive, and I did this even in season 0. Once I completed the battle pass, that's when I focused on competitive, and that's probably how my next week or a couple weeks here as we roll through the season is going to go. But I mean, I guess to each their own, right? But people that take quick play serious, I mean, yeah, there's always going to be that edge, Matt, that do take some of those matches, serious and complain. But
what? Where does that come from?
I don't know, man. Something when you're quiet on the mic, and it's like, well, okay, well, Matt's quiet because he's getting mad.
Matt's been very good recently. Once he quit competitive, he turned a new leaf.
That's when we're playing like 6 or 7 matches and we've lost 6 or 7 in a row, and it's not fun anymore. That's not just because we're in quick play.
What about
I had to call you out. I don't know.
Verse AI, Mark? Do you ever play that?
I have a couple times to knock out missions in that, but generally I don't, because
that's what I do a lot of AI on the middle star, like the 2-star difficulty. If I want to try out a hero yet, and I don't want to, have a team that is, having to suffer because I'm trying to learn a character, or if there's like if I have to do something where I'm not good at the role, like if it's something to do with any kind of Vanguard, and I have to do so much
Shield
of whatever, I'll do that in AI.
See, I don't do it in AI sometimes though, because I don't feel like if it's a healing, the AI is not going to do enough damage for me to get enough heals that I would get like in a regular match, if that makes sense. Yeah. So I don't know, but some of them could, like, I guess if you're playing like a Vanguard, you could probably just, because usually a lot of the AI matches, especially if it's like domination, you just push up to the spawn door and you're just sitting there in front of the door and they just keep coming out and they're just dead.
I don't know. I don't know if you've tried 3-star AI, like 3-star AI.
I don't think I've.
Sometimes
Neil, what
they
did you
come out of
play?
nowhere.
What did we
that
play?
was 3-star AI, and they sync the alts up pretty good.
Well, see, that was
It's
the thing.
disgusting.
We get to the point we were just about to win or whatever, and then they would just push in with the alt. So it didn't seem like the actual, like, just, I don't want to say minute-to-minute gameplay was harder. Like, everything was kind of fine until the alts came online, and then they all just, like,
and then they swap, and it's like Scarlet Witch and Star-Lord, and, like, the perfect amount of spam that's just like, oh, they're deleting this. Oh, the computer's fighting back. Okay.
It's crazy.
Yeah. No, I feel you on that, Matt. When I feel like I'm very bad with a character to try and get the things, I'll be like, okay, I won't worry the people in quick play. I'll go play versus AI and try and figure them out. But I play quick play, and I used to play that not domination. What was that fast
Convergence?
Mode? Like the fast
Doom
mode?
match?
I know what you're talking about. It's
not
still there.
Doom match, but the other thing.
No, it's the.
It's like a death match.
That's what I always played.
Yeah, but I haven't played that anymore.
I do that a lot.
You do? Yeah.
To grind up like hero levels towards like Lord and stuff.
And that's good
how
one
I used to do my health packs
character.
before I realized I could refresh and get rid of them, and now I just get rid of them.
To quick play though, I think quick play can sometimes be harder than competitive. I really don't see a lot of people like talking a lot in quick play, like not a lot of people complaining. It's just like people just doing stupid stuff, or just like it's the dumb team comps. Like me and Neil were playing earlier, we had 4 healers in a game, and like no one said anything. It was like, I guess this is what we're rolling with. And it's just
hit those achievements.
Everyone's mad and competitive, but at least people try.
Yeah. You hope.
Competitive is where I go and play with the other Jeff when I'm Jeff, and we're just like playing off to the side, like having fun.
Let's see. We had another one from Matthew Biggs, and he says, "Yo, gang, if you could permanently ban a character, who would it be? Who do you hate seeing on the enemy team?"
Wolverine.
Oh, as a tank, yeah,
it's the worst. You're just helpless. I genuinely don't know what to do as a tank whenever there's a Wolverine. That's just hard targeting me.
I don't dislike any character that much in this game. Like the only character I can remotely think of in any game is like Mercy in Overwatch, because those games are so unfun when you're just having a pocket Mercy, and I don't feel like we have anything like that
Sombra?
in here. Not I know how to deal with Sombra. It's just like the Mercy though. It's like, DPS, can we get rid of that Mercy? DPS, can we get rid of that Mercy? Oh, nobody's getting rid of that Mercy. Hey, can somebody take care of that Mercy? Like, and nobody's taking care of the Mercy. But whatever, it's fine.
And then I'm screaming at you to heal me. Where's Matt?
Yeah.
Matt, heal
Where's
me.
the healers?
This
I'm a
Mercy just went
strategist.
DPS and just hunted me down. Like, that's what happened.
Peel for your tanks.
Yeah,
with,
Wolverine. You know
Wolverine.
what? You don't see him as much anymore this season, but like it used to be Iron
Boy,
Fist.
I have.
No.
I've seen
No.
a
I'm
lot
saying
of
Iron
Wolverine.
Fist. Like
It's like he's everywhere.
Wolverine, yes, now, but it used to be Iron Fist in season 0 because it was
Yeah.
like he and I would almost put those two together because they just like get right on top of you and there's like nothing you can do. You're just
I
done.
know.
Like a mosquito. Get out of here.
Yeah,
Slap
a good Hawkeye I don't like because you don't see him that much. But
Mhm.
somebody, when you see him, sometimes some people are really good and it's just annoying as crap.
Yeah.
Or a Psylocke. Sometimes I don't like seeing if the person is just harassing and I'm playing heals. It's like, ugh, just gets annoying.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I'd permaban everybody. Everybody's fun. And Spider-Man, maybe.
Yes,
I
no.
think this game would benefit so much from a mystery heroes, like in
would be
Overwatch, where
great.
every time you're knocked out, you come back as somebody different. Like,
I have
that
a
would be
feeling
so
It'll
fun.
happen.
I have a feeling we're going
Yeah.
to get it as an event, but I hope they do it just as a permanent because that is always just fun to go in and just have
Yeah.
fun.
And do us a favor, like give us the skin just to play. You don't gotta let me keep it, but give me like the exclusive skin for the match. You know?
Randomized. Yeah.
Yeah. And
That'd
that
be
way
neat.
it's like more incentive for me to play because I look cool.
Oh, this does look cool.
Let's see. We got another one from Mark Asbury. He says, "Hey guys, do you think we will have some sort of automatic chat ban for players eventually? I know quick play matches are just normal matches, but people use full-on curse words in the game."
No.
I will say I see a lot of like when they put in a curse word, it's what do you want to say, blanked out or it's got little stars or whatever.
Yeah.
it
Is that a
So
setting? Can you turn that? That
I-
maybe I know
Chat
like a lot of
filter?
other chats you can turn off like the language
Maybe.
filter and stuff.
I guess it's
I
on
know
in
that there's a
mine,
lot
but-
of stuff built into the chat because I know there was a lot of pushback because apparently it was the same type of filtering system that Overwatch used to have in place, I believe.
Hmm.
That,
I don't know.
because there's specifically some
Workarounds.
no, not workarounds, but things that because it's a Chinese developer that
Oh.
are automatically filtered when you type it in. So I think that might just be like auto filtering. I don't really profanity. I don't care about in chat. I could see how some people would. I think more of the out of pocket like handles and
Yeah.
character
Oh,
player
sure.
names.
That's
Yeah,
something
some
I've
of
seen
the-
a lot
I-
of, man.
I don't. I act like I like to report a lot, but I don't. I have reported a fair amount of like out of pocket names that are just like, this isn't just like funny and appropriate. This is like
Straight
very
racist, dude. I've
inappropriate.
seen like
Yeah.
full-on racist against like religions, races, like just things that I'm like, what? And like, why would you pick that as your name? I mean, obviously just to be a troll and be a jerk, but like,
But also, like,
Really?
how did this not get flagged when your
Right.
account was
Yeah.
created? You know,
Yeah.
it's wild.
That's
do better.
I meant to bring that up earlier with Smurfs and the competitive people, right? Making second accounts. That's the downside of these free-to-play games, right? Or even you get banned or whatever, just make a new account, get a new email,
Yeah.
make a new account, do
You can
whatever
buy
you
it. You
want.
can buy accounts. You can do stuff like that too.
What
like,
was the situation with Overwatch? I'm trying to remember back because it's been so long since like Overwatch 2 came out, but didn't we put our phone numbers?
Yes. That's why you had to tie your account to a phone number so people weren't making 100 accounts.
Yeah.
Which is kind of tough, especially these games with people who don't have phones. You know,
Yeah.
doesn't everybody have phones?
Doesn't everybody
or
have a
whatever
phone?
that meme
Well,
is? Yeah.
You can get around that now with like a voice over IP number. You know, just get a Google
course,
Voice number.
yeah.
You can.
Oh,
set up
can you?
different-
Okay.
Yeah.
Hot tip. Well,
Hot. Oh, hold on. Well, I'm gonna go make my 5 Smurf accounts because I'm, gonna rank up to
That's
silver
also
in all
weird.
5.
I don't know. I think alt accounts are weird too.
Yeah.
I think Smurf like But then again, I'm not someone who grinds this like that, so
Right.
it's something I'll never understand.
Mhm.
Let's see. We got another one from Ninja with Two Guns. He says, "Hey there, Ninja here. I just had an amazing idea."
Ninja.
Yeah, Ninja. That Ninja. What if we get rivals in Rivals? Hear me out. He said, "What if it's a disadvantage to certain heroes when specific characters on the other team, like Magneto, can throw Wolverines, but in return, the enemy Wolverines' rage doubles the possibilities, are
Ooh.
endless." With this,
Woof.
let's hear one you guys would like to see if this happens. Now, we talked about not necessarily this, but having like a nemesis. I think we were saying.
Yeah.
Like,
kind of the opposite of a team up ability or something.
Think about like the worst counter swap games ever.
Mm-hmm. I think this is a great idea, and it fits right into the name of the game.
I mean, we have to get, I think at that point, then the villains, right? Until we get the villains really being introduced, you can't necessarily have I mean, of course, like a Hulk thing, rivalry could already be in the game. You could have something weird like that when you have Hulk on one side, thing on the other. Yeah, I mean, we've mentioned, like, I mean, Dr. Octopus would be awesome. So if you had him against Spider-Man would be awesome. I mean, Magneto Wolverine, that's a good one because that really is kind of the only one I think in the game we'd have right now, right? I mean,
I'm
we
trying
have
to think.
or Venom Spider. I mean, you could say Venom and Spider-Man. You could be something.
What if instead of like a nemesis system, it was more like a layer action in D&D? So it's like if we both pick, like if I pick Spider-Man and you pick Venom, then at some point Green Goblin is going to enter the level and like auto target both of us. And we have to just be on the lookout for him. You know, it's just like
Wow,
it's like
this is an entirely different game.
like
That's
a
crazy.
flyby. And then it's, it's just like
Throwing
a
some
layer
pumpkin
action
bombs,
that
yeah.
sometimes is going to be triggered during the match.
That's cool.
Carnage. I think Carnage would be cooler.
Oh man, please.
But
Yeah.
I know. I don't know if it, because then it's just one more mechanic where it's just like, oh, it's something we have to be aware of in the level versus I don't want this person to have that advantage on me, so let me swap.
Yeah.
Because
Mhm.
people spend way too much time in spawn.
Yeah, you're right.
On the
That would
swap
create
thing.
chaos.
So
It would.
it's not a bad
also-
idea though. Don't get me wrong.
It would probably take up a lot of bans too, right? Like, oh, I want to play these people,
Yeah.
so I
Yeah.
got to ban my rivals rather than
Mhm.
banning the people that are OP or whatever, right?
You know,
It's-
one we do have in the game right now, you could have Black Panther and Namor,
Yeah,
right?
I
Wakanda
thought about
and
one. Yeah.
Atlantis.
Mhm.
Be a good one.
I think that sounds awesome. That'd be fun. Or maybe make that an event mode,
Yeah.
like our clone battle.
Like 2v2 or something like that, that'd be kind of neat. Or
Mhm.
I mean, or just straight up 1v1 would be awesome with kind of these weird things thrown in there like that. Let's see. The final one we have, this one comes from D Lang, and they said, games like Smite and Fortnite have done some really cool things with skin crossovers with bands, brands, and even other games. I think it would be really cool to see that in Rivals. What do you guys think the chances of seeing something like that?
I think that'd be dope.
I think this came from, there was like an article or something that came out where somebody at NetEase was saying they were surprised by, or the game is blowing up so much that they are starting to think about potentially doing something with crossovers. But like this game, I don't know, like for me, it's one thing in Fortnite because Fortnite's trying to create the metaverse essentially.
Yeah.
Right.
Smite, it has been a little bit weird seeing like Ninja Turtles and Avatar, and I think they even did like Nickelodeon. Like, isn't it like Jimmy Neutron in Smite? Like, this kind of weird,
Oh yeah,
weird stuff.
I
in
missed
Smite.
that one.
More like Paramount.
man.
What is that? Paramount. It's Nickelodeon stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Marvel's just like, it's Marvel. Like, there's so
Yeah, I
many variations on all the different heroes throughout all the years that they don't need to do that. I know it's a great way to
Yeah.
put advertising for whatever that brand is that they want to pull in, but I don't think they need to do that. They can just put out, presidential Loki and people are going to buy it. They can put out the Loki from the show Loki and people are going to buy it. Like, they don't need to make it Loki with a Transformer, Optimus Prime shirt on.
It would be cool though.
It would be pretty
I
cool.
think
probably. I'd buy
it's
it.
also big in the scene right now. Like next week, Overwatch is putting out a second collaboration with the K-pop group LE SSERAFIM, which
Oh yeah.
every stream you look on Twitch right now, like every Overwatch streamer is just like forwarding towards that event because it was so it's the second one. They did the first one a year and a half ago, I think, was so pop. It was like a sleeper hit that became so massive. I had asked one of the developers about this, specifically like a collaboration with like K-pop stuff for like Luna Snow, and
Right.
they said it's already something that they had been pursuing, and they were just waiting on people to be available. So I think they're much further down the road than we would think they are on any kind of like collaboration stuff like this.
Mhm.
But if anything, I think it's not necessarily like, oh, I could be Imagine Dragons and Marvel Rivals. Sorry, that's the first thing that came to my mind.
Dude, Luna
But
makes sense.
just like a themed skin or something.
Yeah. I mean,
Wake
Luna
up to
makes
the
sense, though,
sound.
right? Doesn't Luna make sense? Because, like,
Yeah.
just of who that character is, and you could see that
Totally.
even in the comics, right? Where they could do, like, a La Seraphim crossover in the comics, and so it would make sense to come into Rivals. But, to have, I don't know, Thor with, I don't know, Spinal Tap. It's just like a strange or, whoever, Metallica.
That's
It's
like
just-
you go to think of
AC/DC.
like, okay, so who
Stonehenge.
would they
Tenacious
do?
D, Jack Black.
Okay, give
In
me
the
any
Thor, yeah.
Jablonski
Jack
out
Black
there.
skin.
Okay, all right, I'll buy it. But that's like
Yeah.
I mean, we have quick comic moment. There's a one-shot concert of champions coming out in April or May, and it's like a bunch of the singer superheroes in Marvel that are featured in this one book. And I think Luna Snow is going to be one of the main characters in it. There's like Dazzler and a couple other ones, but it's like
Cool.
I bet we'll get something tied into that because Marvel is putting a lot of proper push into it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they do a lot of cross promotion, but it's with themselves, right? With the MCU, with the other games. I feel like Marvel would be pretty protective on their characters and stuff and what they can do. Like they're not going to be making super silly costumes for them. They want to keep them true to the comics. Like,
We're not getting Pilverine anytime soon.
Yeah.
No.
but how you said that they have the singer one shot coming up, but like, have they really done any huge thing in comics before? Like for Cross, that's outside of Marvel. Like, if it's done there, then I guess it makes sense that it would come into the game. But
Yeah,
don't-
that's the only way I could see it.
Yeah.
I don't foresee. There was that
Transformers
Fortnite event where it's like there was the giant Ariana Grande.
Right,
I don't think we're not gonna get like Ariana Grande walking through like Shibuya, like, and you have to stop her from getting.
Well, I brought this up
No, thank
before.
you.
They did have Trudeau in an Iron Man comic or in the Civil War
Very true.
comic. So they
You
have
gotta
done
cover.
that before. So he might be the next Rivals hero here. We'll see.
Hey, for us Americans, he is a rival, right? Or what?
Maple syrup again.
All right, guys.
He's
Well,
got time.
let's wrap it up there. Of course, big thank you guys here for tuning into the show. Again, leave us some feedback. Either send us an email at rivalsassemblepod@gmail.com. Hit us up on socials on X or Blue Sky at rivalsassemble. And of course, be sure to comment on the podcast over on Spotify if you're listening over there, and leave us a review if you can. And on iTunes, of course. You can't leave us a comment there. Well, I guess you can leave us technically a review, but not a comment necessarily on the episode. And be sure to vote on our poll over on Spotify. Again, what is the most useless team up in the game? Widow Hawkeye, Moon Knight Cloak and Dagger, Fastball Special, Rocket Groot and Jeff, or Venom and his Spidey friends. Let us
Anytime
know
that
in
is
the
a tank.
poll over there. And again, next week we'll give you all the details on our Patreon that we will be launching on the 24th. And if you haven't already, be sure to go listen to our Captain America Brave New World episode. We break down the movie, but beware, there are spoilers. So if you've not seen the movie yet, don't listen to the
Huge
episode.
spoilies. Like
Yeah.
nothing's off limits.
Yep, we just spoil it all there for you. And join our Discord. Come join our growing community. We have a great community over there of a bunch of just like-minded people who are having fun in the game. And we have some that are just casuals and some that are into the competitive side of it. So you can definitely find a place for you in our Discord community. So with that, guys, any final thoughts here on the podcast? Anything you want to throw out here at the end?
Thanks for spending some time with us this week. You guys, we know that your time is valuable, so thank you for making some time for us. We hope that you get something out of it.
Hey, talking about you can't make time to video game. That's why we do the show, so we can be in your
Yeah.
ear holes for an hour and a
I
half,
was
2
gonna
hours
say
a
that.
week.
I don't.
Best thing when you're rocking your kid to sleep
Yeah.
is having a podcast to listen to.
Yeah.
Audiobook podcast.
Best thing when you're rocking yourself to sleep is
Listening
Yeah, I
to
do
the
that
dump.
too. I do
Listening to
that
those
too.
dumps.
Sleep timers, they're great.
well. On that note,
Yeah, that's going to be it. That's a wrap. So with that, everybody, thank you here for tuning into the show. And until next time, we'll catch you later.